So, Assassin's Creed Mirage has been out for about a week now, and this video is going to be a bit of a review of Assassin's Creed Mirage, just going over my thoughts of it so far, and yeah, just how I've been sort of finding the game. Now, I've got into a bit of an earlier save here, and I just wanted to sort of, walk around, talk about the game, and my experience so far. I went to an early save just to avoid any spoilers for those of you that haven't played the game yet, or thinking about getting the game. So this is literally, I think, this is about 15 minutes into the game maybe at this point, but yeah, just wanted to walk around, talk about the game and how I found it so far, doing a bit of a review on the game. So basically we'll start with sort of the characters and the story so far. So obviously you play as Basim, and this is set before the recent Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and obviously Basim is in Valhalla, but this is before that point. So pretty interesting to see how it all folds out, and yeah, it's been really positive so far, I must admit. Now, in terms of the story, I think it's a good story. Not the best story out there. It's no Red Dead Redemption 2 in my opinion, but it is a good story. It's fine. It's there, and it definitely, yeah, it works. I'm happy with it. It's not exactly boring, but obviously it's not, I wouldn't say I've got extremely emotionally attached to any real characters, really. I haven't found anyone extremely memorable, but I have liked Basim. I think he's a cool protagonist. I think it works really well. It's a really clever idea in my opinion, and yeah, the story's good. No real complaints, but no absolute massive praises either in my opinion. It's just, it's there, it's good, it's solid. There's nothing awful about it, but there's nothing absolutely outstanding about it. But yeah, that's not really a negative in my opinion at all. Now, moving on from that, yeah, so Basim, yeah, he's the protagonist of the game, like I mentioned. I think he's a good protagonist. Now, in terms of other characters, like I mentioned, there's no one really that memorable to me. Obviously, yeah, there are some people that you sort of remember more than others, but generally for me, there's been no one that I've been properly attached to. But that might just be me. That might just be something personal to me. Other people might find, oh, I really like that character. He's really cool. And yeah, I want to, stay intrigued with how his story folds out, if that makes sense. So yeah, that might just be something personal to me. But generally speaking, I've not been really attached to characters. But I'm not, I've been really bored them either. Once again, just like the story, yeah, it's all good to be honest. So now let's talk about the size of the game. Now, so far the game's felt big, to be honest. It's not felt small. Obviously the game comes in at a smaller price point. It is, I believe it's £45, yeah, £45, or around $50, which is obviously much cheaper than most games these days. So it's pretty interesting that obviously it came in at that cheaper price, and in my opinion, they definitely could have got away with putting it at the full price point. I'm glad they didn't. It's really good from Ubisoft they didn't put it at that high price point, since it is smaller than Valhalla, so I suppose there is that. But it still feels pretty big. I mean, this map's not small. Yeah, it's no Valhalla size map, of course, but it still feels really nice. I think, to be honest, it's the perfect size. I think the entire size of the game is perfect. It takes about 25 to 30 hours to complete the story and everything like that. So I think you're looking at about 50 hours for full completion, possibly. And yeah, I think that's the perfect size for a game these days. I think that when you're sort of pushing the 100-hour mark to do absolutely everything, I think maybe that's a bit much. I suppose the main story, as long as that's around 25 to 30 hours, maybe the full completion could be about 100 hours for those that want to do that. But I think about 50 hours for absolutely everything is good. I think for me personally, that's a really nice sweet spot there. That's the perfect point, and that's what I would like. So yeah, in terms of that, I think that's great. Now, moving on from there, in terms of the length of the game and yeah, the size, obviously, yeah, that's actually what I've just been going over. So sorry, I just looked back at my notes and I just read that out again. But either way, yeah, no, I would say the size of the game is absolutely fine. The map is a good size, like I mentioned. There's no complaints. I think it's really nice, and I really like the dense feel of it. I mean, look, there's people everywhere. It's every single corner you turn, something new's happening. We've got a bit of a market over here. We go through here, we've got a completely different world down here. If we walk over back up here, we turn left once again. Still so many people, really dense. I absolutely love it. I think it's really cool. And yeah, I really like the way that the game feels and the way that it plays out. It's much better than Valhalla in my opinion, but that's just I mean, it's like, it's the old style Assassin's Creed game, sort of going back to, reminds me of Unity a lot and Syndicate. So for me, that's great. I really like those games. So going back to that standard type of Assassin's Creed game for me is absolutely outstanding, and that's something that, yeah, I really like with Mirage. So now let's talk about the gameplay. So in terms of the gameplay, we'll focus on three things: the parkour, the stealth, and the combat. So first of all, let's talk about the parkour. And the parkour, I mean, it is just outstanding. I mean, look at this. We're just climbing up the wall. Obviously, yeah, we got this in Valhalla, of course we did. We got this in all Assassin's Creed games. But in games like Valhalla and Origins and Odyssey, you didn't get many chances to do this sort of parkour. You didn't get to do this in many places since it was just so open. It was an RPG style game. You didn't get to do this sort of thing all the time. So being able to go back and do this is really, really nice. Something that, yeah, I really like about Mirage, and the parkour feels so smooth with Basim. It feels so clean. Absolutely no complaints whatsoever about that. It works really nicely. And yeah, I mean, I've just been able to climb this entire building. Felt really smooth, looks really smooth. And then I can jump down and do the classic jump into there. So, really cool stuff there. No complaints. And yeah, that's just really clean in terms of parkour. It's really nice. It's just how Assassin's Creed should be. And I think that they've perfected the parkour with this game, to be completely honest with you. And then in terms of the stealth and the overall combat, I think it's also fantastic. I think that the parkour for me is the main standout point in terms of the gameplay, but the stealth and combat are also fantastic. They're outstanding as well. They really work well, and it feels nice, it feels smooth, it feels like it's been developed well, and the gameplay feels really good. Also, along with the gameplay, the games feel really optimized on PC. I've been playing it on PC, and it felt like a really optimized game. And we don't get that very often these days, that games actually at launch runs well on PC. So I was thinking about getting it on PlayStation, but I thought, you know what, I've seen some of the early access benchmarks, it looks pretty good. So I went and I got it on PC, and it is actually a much, an actually really good experience, which I wasn't expecting. It's a big surprise. Usually these days games release in awful state on PC, but it's nice from Ubisoft that that's not been the case. So for me personally, obviously if you're on console, then that's not going to really, affect you. But for those PC players, it's a nice bonus that it actually runs well. So then past that point, the graphics. Now the graphics are outstanding, obviously, there's no complaints, they look really nice. This is on PC, and I don't even think this is maxed out. I think this is high settings, so I can get even better than this, to be honest. And this feels absolutely really smooth, no complaints. And I mean, to be honest, does it for me look really different to Valhalla? No, it doesn't. But the graphics in Valhalla are also outstanding, no complaints. To be honest, I think even in the older games, the graphics still look really good. So yeah, no complaints about the graphics, they hold up well, they look nice. They're not bad in any way whatsoever. It's a beautiful game. You can't complain about the graphics at all. So in terms of that, it does really cover up there. You can't really complain. They look amazing. The views are great. And yeah, absolutely no complaints. I mean, Basim, he looks cool. The graphics on him, the modelling, really nice. And every character just looks great. Cutscenes are cool. Everything like that is fantastic, really. So yeah, overall, very positive stuff. I don't really, to be honest at all, have a negative about the game. I suppose the story, yeah, it's not been the most outstanding story, but but I wouldn't say that's really a bad thing. I've played much worse stories, and I've played also better ones, but I've played very few better ones. It is a good story. It's definitely, not a bad one, so I don't want it to seem like a proper negative, since it isn't really. And there are probably many people out there that really like the story. It's just personal, really. And then, yeah, now, compared to Valhalla, I think this is the better game. I do think it is a better game than Valhalla. I think it's a better game than Origins. And I think it is better than Odyssey, to be honest. Yeah, I bigged the game up quite a lot, but for me, it's really nice. It just feels like a modern take on Unity and Syndicate and all the older Assassin's Creed games, which for me is perfect. Obviously, we will get more of those RPG-style games, I'm pretty sure. But it's nice just to have this game. It just feels really nice, and I'm really pleased with what Ubisoft have done with it. Absolutely no complaints, really. And if you're thinking about picking it up and you like the different style of Assassin's Creed games, even if you liked Valhalla and Odyssey, I think you'll like this. I think it's outstanding. I think it's better than those games. So yeah, I really suggest picking this up. Whether you're new to the Assassin's Creed series or you're a long-time fan, I genuinely think that this game is for you. And yeah, that does just about wrap up things here. That's a casual review, really, of Assassin's Creed Mirage. Obviously, I'm not a massive Assassin's Creed fan. I've not played every single game in the series. But from the games I have played, this is definitely, probably so far, I'd maybe consider it the best one I've played. Maybe, to be fair. Definitely up there anyway, and it's certainly a very good title. So yeah, that was a review on Assassin's Creed Mirage, whilst I'm, just sort of on my playthrough of the game. And yeah, all very positive. And yeah, that does just about wrap up things here. Now, on screen now, you are seeing a link to a video where I go over my first impressions of Assassin's Creed Mirage, where I play it for the very first time. Hit the link on the screen if you are interested in watching that.